Hi, this is Margaret again. Now let's go look at this PowerPoint lecture in our shared drive that talks about sheet sizes and title blocks. So that's number 2B, and I will pull that up here. This National CAD standard gives us standard sizes and shapes of pieces of paper, and the American standard follows ANSI. It's very similar to the ISO standard. ISO is metric, ANSI is inch, and then I'll mention a word about architectural in a second. If you take a piece of notebook paper or a piece of letter size paper that goes in a printer and hold it up, you'll notice it's 8.5 by 11. And if you take two of those sheets and put them edge to edge, you will make a sheet that is 11 by 17. And that is what you call a B size. A B size is just two A size sheets stuck together. If you took 4 of those B size sheets and stuck them together, you'd get a D size sheet. So the smallest sheet is an A, next size sheet is a B, and the sizes go up from there. It used to be that mechanical people always used multiples of 8.5 by 11 and architectural people always used multiples of 9 by 12. That difference is kind of blurring nowadays because we all use printers, and printers tend to use A size and B size sheets or multiples of those. So in many architectural offices you will see A, B, C, and D that are multiples of these sizes. There's no standard about how big the margin has to be around the title block, although it's common to allow an extra bit of white space on the left because we often like to bind drawing sets together with staples. We're going to look at the title block, which is this area along the right edge of the sheet. And in an architectural drawing, it's vertical along the right edge, and it's divided into 6 blocks. There's no standard for what size those blocks have to be, but there is a standard for what order they go in. They have to go in this same order so that when we're looking for information, we know where to find it. Let us go through these blocks one at a time, and we'll start with this top block, which has to do with who is the designer or drafter. And now we're pulling out just that designer portion of the title block strip. So this is where your architecture firm or engineering firm would list their company name and their address. And there's a space here for stamps. Architects and engineers, once they are licensed, get a stamp with red ink. And when they approve a drawing, they will stamp the title block. So we leave a space for their stamp there. Below the designer's information is information about the project. So who is the customer? Where is the building that you're building? And it might be a name, might be a company, and then we include the address of the customer or client. Under that is something called the issue block, and this is not when you drew it, but it's when you released the drawing. Maybe you sent it out for bids, maybe you did some revision work. That's the issuing. This management block is where you record you. Who drew this? There's your name. When did you draw it? Is there a project number? Oftentimes there is. Then under that you write the name of the sheet. So is this a floor plan? Is it a foundation plan? Is this a section? You write that in this block. And under that you write the sheet number. And in the next PowerPoint lecture we're going to talk about how you figure out these sheet numbers. So you'll notice there's an A for architecture, there's a number, 101 in this case, and under that we write which sheet is this and how many sheets are there in this set. So if you had 4 sheets in your plan set, you would write sheet 1 of 4, so that the contractor always knows how many sheets they're supposed to have, and if one is missing, they'll be able to tell. The title block has to go along the vertical right edge of the paper, but you are allowed to, you are allowed to make the text horizontal if you like, or vertical if you like, and different offices do it different ways. You'll just have to see what your employer wants. There are, however, several blocks that have to be horizontal, whether you're going horizontal or vertical in the rest of it. Down here in the bottom, where you write who drew it and the date, and the title of the sheet and the sheet number, all of that has to stay horizontal no matter what you do in the rest of it, so that we can always read that right away when we pull a drawing out. There is a standard for A-size sheets, but we hardly ever use them. They're so small, so I'll go past this one. Now just a few examples so you can see the great variety in title blocks. This is a title block from the drafter who wrote our textbook. He tends to do residential work. Here's a title block from Robertson Sherwood Architects. They're a well-known local architect firm. They did the Eugene Public Library, the LCC Downtown Center, a number of projects on the LCC main campus. So here is their title block. Here is the title block from Systems West. They do mechanical work, and that means heating, ventilating, air conditioning, electrical, plumbing, that sort of thing. They do an awful lot of work for LCC, and you'll notice, if you haven't noticed already, that a lot of companies, while they do put the title block along the right edge, they don't exactly follow the standard. So down here, here's the management block. It's not horizontal. The name of the sheet is up here instead of down at the bottom, and so on and so forth. So there's a little bit of variety. Finally, here's the title block used by the facilities office at LCC. So again, kind of follow the standard and kind of don't. And this one was created many years ago, so it's kind of an old-timey title block. In the next lecture, we'll go look at how we do the sheet numbering.